The gate did not sleep. It dreamed in frequencies that unraveled resolve. Its spire speared the void between stars, a jagged monument of alien alloy and bioluminescent sinew. To the Xyrathi, it had been a bridge. To EarthGov, a weapon. To the 43 souls now orbiting its desolate moon, it was a tomb waiting to be filled. Their armor, sleek and pitiless, hummed with the promise of martyrdom. Explosives, fused to spinal plates, set to bloom if courage faltered. EarthGov's engineers called it motivational engineering. The prisoners, chained to their drop pods, called it what it was, a guarantee they would never return. Among them walked a commander whose shadow outlived his honor, and an engineer who had weaponized silence. They did not yet know how the gate's song would scrape their bones clean of lies, or how its roots, deep in the planet's corpse, pulsed with the memory of dead civilizations. EarthGov's missive spoke of duty, of redemption earned through fire. But the gate whispered older truths, that some leashes were not held by hands, and some wars were fought not for empires, but for the right to dissolve into stardust. When the drop signal flared, crimson and final, the battalion's breath sank to the countdown. Some prayed, some cursed. One, with scars like circuitry and eyes that mirrored the void, traced the trajectory of escape routes that did not exist. Above them, EarthGov's warships folded into the dark, their hulls gleaming with the sterile pride of architects. They did not linger to watch the descent. They knew the math. 43 lives, 1 gate, 0 variables. But the gate had always preferred irrational numbers. Chapter 1. Cold seeped through the ISS Retribution's hull, a metallic chill that gnawed at Kalen Drath's bones. He stood in the armory bay, gloved fingers tracing the ridges of his vambrace. The explosive charges beneath the battalion's armor plates hummed faintly. A sound like wasps trapped in glass. EarthGov's insurance policy. One misstep, one retreat, and the charges would reduce them to crimson mist. Keelan's reflection wavered in the blackened steel wall. A gaunt face, eyes like shrapnel scars. He wondered if the guilt would detonate first. The prisoners arrived in chains. They shuffled into the bay, their boots scraping against the grated floor. Colin recognized the hollow stares, the twitches of men and women who had learned to measure time and punishments. His gaze snagged on the woman at the rear. Jori Kala. Her file had been a puzzle. Xenotech savant. 5 years in the labor camps for destroying a prototype AI core. No explanation. No plea bargains. She walked as though the shackles were an inconvenience. Her head tilted upward, studying the flickering overhead lights as though they held answers. Or traps. You will follow orders without hesitation, she said. The words tasted stale. A script written by EarthGov strategists. Deviate, and the charges ensure you serve one final purpose. Jori's laugh was a blade unsheathed. A suicide squad with style. How original. The prisoners stiffened. Colin's pulse quickened, not at her defiance, but at the precision of her voice. She did not slur her consonants like the others. She articulated each syllable as though carving it into stone. Dangerous. He approached her, the bay's shadowed light etching her sharp features into something feral. A scar bisected her left eyebrow, pale against her umber skin. You will address me as commander, he said. She leaned forward, chains clinking. You will address entropy, commander. We are all dead here. Some of us simply know it sooner. He ordered her gagged. The drop pod stank of sweat and ionized metal. Keelan sat apart from the battalion, his helmet's hood flickering with biometrics. 43 heartbeats, 43 bombs strapped to spines. The Xyrathi warp gate loomed on the scanners ahead, a jagged spire of black alloy veined with bioluminescent rot. It pulsed, a diseased heart. Jori sat across from him, ungagged now, her fingers dancing across the cracked screen of a stolen datapad. She had dismantled her helmet's comms array, rewired it into something unrecognizable. Kalen did not stop her. Let her tinker. Let her believe she controlled anything at all. The gate is not a machine, she said abruptly. Her voice was low, meant only for him. He did not look up. It is a target. It breathes. It dreams. Your scanners see bones, not blood. You have been ordered to plant charges, not philosophize. She smirked. A flash of white teeth. Philosophy is what fools call survival. The pod shuddered. Acid green light flooded the viewports as they breached the planet's atmosphere. The ruins sprawled below. A necropolis of collapsed towers, their surfaces pocked with Xyrathi resin. Kalen's stomach tightened. It reminded him of Nereza IV, of the ambush that had turned his squad into statues of ash. His fingers brushed the dog tags beneath his chest plate. 9 names, 9 failures. Jory watched him. Her eyes were the color of smoldered brass. Unblinking, they deployed into the ruins. Wind howled through the skeletal remains of the city, carrying the reek of decaying biomass. The battalion fanned out, their armored forms grotesque in the warp gate's pallid glow. Kalen monitored their progress through his retinal display. Each soldier a flickering green dot. Jory's dot lagged behind, lingering near a half-buried Xyrathi drone. "Stay in formation," he barked over the comms. "You are looking at the trees, not the forest," she replied. Her feed showed her kneeling beside the drone. Its carapace split open to reveal throbbing violet organs. "This is not a gate. It is an invitation." A scream cut the static. The Xyrathi emerged from the resin-coated ground, their exoskeletons clicking like broken clocks. 3 soldiers detonated instantly, their armor misfiring as they stumbled backward. Panicked, human. Kalen's display flashed red. He fired his plasma rifle, the recoil jolting his bones. A Xyrathi lunged, its scythe-like claws shearing through a prisoner's breastplate. The man's charge erupted, painting the ruins in gore. Jory was running, not away toward the drone. She wrenched a component from its innards, her hands steady even as a Xyrathi closed in. Kalen shouted her name, a raw sound he did not recognize. She jammed the component into her armor's detonator port. The sonic pulse knocked him off his feet. When his vision cleared, the Xyrathi lay twitching, their exoskeletons cracked like eggshells. Jory stood amid the carnage, her armor smoking. The detonator's wiring fused to her glove. She met his gaze, breathless, triumphant. "Next time," she said, "you will look at the forest." They regrouped in the shadow of the warp gate. The spire towered above them, its surface alive with squirming tendrils. Jory pressed her palm against it, her helmet discarded. The gate's bioluminescence cast her face in ghostly hues. "It is singing," she whispered. Kalen stood beside her, his rifle heavy in his hands. The tendrils recoiled from his armor, repelled by the explosive charge's frequency. "What does it say?" She closed her eyes. "It's lonely. It wants a mind to wear." A voice. He thought of EarthGov's orders: disable the gate, return for extraction, and felt the dog tags dig into his chest. Lies nested inside lies. Jory's fingers traced the glyphs etched into the gate, her lips moving silently. "They do not want to destroy it," she said. "They want to leash it, to make it theirs." Kalen's throat tightened. He saw the Nereza IV ashes again, heard his lieutenant's final transmission. "Why are they letting us die?" Jory turned to him. The gate's light pooled in her eyes, liquid and ancient. "You do not have to be their weapon, Commander." He stepped back. "Finish the charges." She smiled, sad and sharp. "As you command." The battalion retreated to the extraction point, their numbers halved. Kalen watched Jory through the pod's viewport as she stared at the shrinking warp gate. Her reflection superimposed over the void, a woman carved from shadow and defiance. He opened a private channel. "How did you know about the pulse?" She did not look at him. "I listen. To the gate, to the silence between orders." The pod plunged into the black. Kalen's fingers found the dog tags again. 9 names. Now 43. He wondered if Jory Ka would be the 10th, or the first to live. Chapter 2. The dead hive swallowed them whole. Kalen Drath's boots sank into the sponge-like floor of the Xyrathi structure, its walls ribbed with fossilized cartilage and weeping amber fluid. The air hung thick with the musk of decay, a cloying sweetness that coated his tongue. Behind him, the remnants of Battalion 77 shuffled through the gloom, their armored forms reduced to silhouettes by the bioluminescent fungi clinging to the ceiling. Jory Kale walked ahead, her bare fingertips skimming the hive's pulsating veins. She had discarded her gloves hours ago, claiming the hive's secretions helped her listen. Kalen did not ask to what. He counted the survivors. 22 heartbeats flickering on his HUD. 22 bombs ticking in the dark. His own charge throbbed against his spine. A second heartbeat. EarthGov's fist, forever clenched around his throat. Jory paused beneath an archway strung with membranous sacs. Their contents glowed faintly, larval shapes suspended in viscous fluid. She tilted her head, her breath fogging the air. "It is morning," she said. Cullen tightened his grip on his rifle. "Explain." "The hive. It grieves for its keepers. The Xyrathi abandoned it when the gate fell silent." She pressed her palm to the wall, and the veins beneath dimmed, as though recoiling. "Now it starves." He wondered if the hive's hunger mirrored his own. A void carved by failures, by the ash of Nereza the Farth, still clinging to his lungs. He said nothing. They made camp in a hollow chamber, where the walls curved inward like a skeletal hand. Grell, the battalion's medic, injected stims into trembling necks. Varn, a hulking POW, with hydraulic augments grafted to his spine, scraped resin from his armor with a serrated knife. His eyes lingered on Jory, sharp with accusation. Colin marked him, a spark waiting for kindling. Jory knelt in the chamber's center, her datapad casting a sickly blue light. She had rewired 3 armor charges into makeshift mines. Their housings cracked open to expose snarled circuitry. Colin watched her work, the deliberate flick of her wrists, the way her braids fell like armored cables down her back. She did not startle when he crouched beside her. "The charges are unstable," he said. "All power is unstable." She did not look up. "That is what makes it useful." He reached for a mine. Her hand snapped around his wrist, her grip furnace hot. "Do not touch what you do not understand, Commander." He withdrew. Her eyes flashed, not with anger, but with something older. Shame. Night fell, or what passed for it in the hive. The fungi dimmed, plunging the chamber into a twilight ripe with whispers. Kellen paced the perimeter, his rifle a familiar weight. Jory's silhouette hunched over her datapad, her shoulders tense. Varn's gaze followed her like a targeting reticle. A scream tore through the dark. Kalen sprinted toward the sound, his boots slipping on the spongy floor. He found Grell crouched over a twitching soldier, the man's armor hissing where the hive's amber fluid had eaten through the plating. The charge on his back pulsed erratically. "Get back," Grell barked. The acid triggered the detonator. Jory shoved past Kalen. She tore open the soldier's armor panel, her fingers dancing across the charge's wiring. The pulse quickened. Colin's own charge vibrated in sympathy. A death rattle. Jory. His voice was a blade. She ignored him. With a twist of her wrist, she ripped free a cluster of wires. The charge fell dark. The soldier gasped, his face slick with sweat. Jory wiped her hands on her thighs, leaving smears of black fluid. "The hive's secretions are acidic," she said. "The charger's housing is vulnerable. You must seal the armor joints with resin." Colin stared at her. "You knew this." She met his gaze. "Now you do too." He ordered the battalion to coat their armor. As they worked, Varn cornered Jory near a cluster of sacks, his augments whining. "You are EarthGov's pet," he snarled. "This is a trick, a way to kill us slower." Jory did not flinch. "If I wished you dead, you would have joined the Xyrathi in the ruins." Varn lunged. Kalen intercepted, slamming him against the wall. The hive shuddered, raining droplets of fluid. "You are a prisoner, same as us," Varn spat. Why do you lick his boots? Because she is smarter than you, Colin said. He released Varn, his voice low. And I do not need boots to end you. The spark had found its kindling. The Xyrathi came at dawn. Colin woke to the hive's walls shivering, a subsonic wail vibrating in his molars. Jory stood at the chamber's entrance, her palms flat against the archway. They have come to reclaim the hive, she said. They feel it. Waking. He mobilized the battalion. Jory's minds lined the narrow tunnels. Their triggers synced to his retinal display. Varn took point, his augments grinding. Colin watched Jory strap on her helmet, her fingers lingering on the crack she had not repaired. A weakness, a choice. The first Xyrathi died in a blaze of shrapnel, its exoskeleton shredded by Jory's mines. The battalion advanced, their resolve hardened by the hive's guttural cries. Colin fought mechanically, his body remembering what his mind wished to forget. The rhythm of slaughter, the way blood steamed in the cold. Jory did not fire a single shot. She weaved through the chaos, her datapad synced to the mines. When a Xyrathi flanked Grill, she rerouted a charge's frequency, overloading its nervous system. The creature collapsed, twitching. Grill nodded to her. A silent pact forged. They retreated deeper into the hive, the Xyrathi's clicks echoing like a death chant.
This story continues. Subscribe to our channel, like the video, and listen to the rest.